Very good morning. Welcome to Breakfast with Charlie State and Louise Minchin.
Our headlines today. England prepare to take on Denmark for a place in the Euros final. It would be their first chance of a major tournament title since 1966.
The victor will face Italy, who beat Spain in late-night penalties at Wembley.
Good morning from Wembley. Yes, the day has arrived. We are expecting almost 60,000 fans here later tonight and an audience of many millions as the nation stops to watch.
An investigation begins into the use of private email accounts for sensitive official business at the Department of Health.
Good morning. The boost to business as the countdown to ending isolation for those who've been double jabbed begins. But I look at why some employers say that's simply replacing one problem with another.
And on the 7th day of the 7th month, Kevin Sinfield has his running shoes on once again in support of his former teammate, number 7, Rob Burrow, and the MND Association.
Good morning. Today again we've got a lot of cloud and also some rain across the far northeast of the country. For the rest of us it will brighten up, there'll be some sunshine, but that in turn could spark some heavy torrential downpours which could also prove to be thundery. I'll have all the details coming up.
Good morning, it's Wednesday, the 7th of July. Our top story today, England are hoping to make history tonight when they take on Denmark in the semi-finals of the Euros.
If they win, it will be their first major final since 1966. Sally is at Wembley this morning ahead of all of the action. Morning, Sally. There's a real sense of anticipation already.
There is. I don't know if you can feel it there, but oh my goodness, we've been here, haven't we, on Wembley Way quite early the last few days, and today feels different, I can tell you. The match last night was incredible. We could hear, the fans already singing "Football's Coming Home," even though that wasn't an England game. But as you can see, I'm joined here by two of England's most important men, Harry Kane and Gareth Southgate. And I think probably this morning we're going to be talking about Gareth Southgate quite a lot because he has set the tone for this England team. He has set the tone for this England camp. They're so relaxed, so confident, and they are ready for their semi-final tonight, as Ollie Foster reports.
This England team don't like to dwell on the past. The history hurts. But they can afford to look back at the last 3 weeks as a job very well done.
Then plays it into Sterling!
The rise of Raheem Sterling, his first goals at a major tournament, took them to the top of their group.
In comes the captain!
Harry Kane joined the party quite late, but what an entrance that was against Germany.
Pickford who saves it. What a good hand.
They haven't conceded a goal yet.
Mason Mount with the corner. There's another one.
And then that game in Rome against Ukraine. 4 goals to send them hurtling into the home straight on a wave of belief for their return to Wembley tonight in front of 60,000 fans.
We're very excited about the game, that's for sure. And we know that we're going to have tremendous support throughout the country, so that's a great feeling for us. I think we're ready for the game. I think the players are ready. They've got tremendous experience now themselves, having been in this situation before.
England reached the World Cup semi-finals 3 years ago in Russia. They seem much better equipped and stronger as a squad going into this one, although Denmark will be tough opponents.
What an emotional, inspirational tournament they've had. Their star player Christian Eriksen collapsed on the pitch with a cardiac arrest during their first match. From fearing the worst, they're now playing every game for him as he recovers at home.
Good head, good goal.
We try to fight the best we have learned through these emotions. We have played fantastic football. We have shown who we are. I'm very proud of these boys. I'm very proud of the people of Denmark, the support and love and compassion we have been given.
England are also feeding off their fans, the thousands in Wembley, the millions watching and listening, and they want to give something back.
They've been exceptionally solid, they've got better as the tournament's progressed. Beating Germany, I think, was a big mental block to overcome, perhaps. And then an almost perfect performance in the quarterfinals against Ukraine.
The The prize is so close, and of course England have fallen at this hurdle before, but this team is all about rewriting, not repeating history. Ollie Foster, BBC News, Wembley.
Ollie makes a really good point at the end of that piece there, doesn't he? It is, for so many years, England players have been burdened with this history, haven't they, of getting so far in tournaments and getting no further. And also they have at times have had managers who haven't worked for the national side. Well, this time they've got the right man in the job. And actually, if you look at the squad, they're so young, they don't remember all of that stuff that went on before. Some of them, weren't even born. So I think this moment is different. It feels different standing here on Wembley Way. And I think if Gareth Southgate were to say anything to the audience watching at home today, he would just say, it's one more game. Treat it like one more game. Let's all stay calm, because that's what he will be saying to the players this morning who have moved from their training base closer to London, so they don't have so long a journey to Wembley today. But here it is. This is the day we've been waiting for.
Sally, we'll chat throughout the programme this morning. Thank you very much.
I love the calm tone, Sally. Thank you. The UK's data watchdog has launched an investigation into the use of private email accounts at the Department of Health.
So after the former Health Secretary Matt Hancock and a Health Minister Lord Bethell used private accounts to conduct government business. Let's speak to our chief political correspondent Adam Fleming, who joins us from Westminster. Adam, do you want to explain why this matters so much and why the investigation?
So the use of private emails emerged because of some legal action that's being taken against the government over the purchasing of PPE and other things during the pandemic. And it emerged that some ministers had used their private email addresses for some of their communications. Now, that is not against the rules, but the Information Commissioner is concerned that if ministers were using private emails, then maybe they will not be archived, saved, or labelled in the same way that official government emails would be, which means they may not appear or be shared if there's a Freedom of Information request. And the Information Commissioner said that people will be concerned about that because it means there will be less transparency. So she's looking into this. She's launched an investigation and she's told the Department of Health to basically just freeze and keep everything they've got. Now, the issue with this is, though, that it could take quite a long time before we get the results of this investigation. And it may turn out that nothing's been done wrong at all.
Yes, and Adam, a couple of things yesterday which are very, very directly related to people's everyday lives, aren't they? Announced me yesterday. So this is about school bubbles and about self-isolation. Looking ahead.
Yeah, there's a massive avalanche of stuff coming out about COVID this week, and it's sometimes quite hard to keep track of it. But yes, these are two big things that will affect a lot of people. Up until now, if you've been called by Test and Trace or pinged by the app to say that you're a close contact of someone who's tested positive for coronavirus, you've had to isolate for 10 days. That will disappear from the 16th of August, and you'll be advised to get a PCR test instead if you've been double vaccinated, but it will only be if you've had both doses of the vaccine. And if you haven't been vaccinated by April the 16th, you will have to wait until you've had the vaccine and the immunity's kicked in 2 weeks later. And in schools in England, it is goodbye bubbles. There'll be a lot more mixing in schools, which will help schools to be much more flexible about lessons and how they get through the school day and do start times and meal times and break times and things like that. But crucially, it will bring an end to the practice of groups of pupils, maybe even whole classes or even whole year groups being sent home if one child in the bubble tests positive for COVID. So a massive change to how COVID is managed in schools, along with the massive changes for how it's managed in the whole of society.
Adam, thank you very much.
One of India's most accomplished and respected film stars, Dilip Kumar, has died at the age of 98.
Nicknamed the Tragedy King, he was praised for his range of roles, appearing in nearly 60 films over 50 years and won more awards than any other Indian actor.
Now, it's not unusual to hear bursts of Sweet Caroline or Three Lions at the moment as football fever sweeps the country, but we might not expect to hear this version.
Prince of Wales invited the band of the Coldstream Guards to Clarence House to play instrumental versions of the rousing Euro 2020 anthems in support of the England squad. Soldiers played full uniform, as you can see, in the garden of the royal household.
See the headlines as they happen and watch BBC News live in the app and get the full story with bbc.co.uk/news. Follow the story for all the latest with BBC News.